Today's topic is on public goods, and the learning targets are how public goods are characterized and why markets fail to supply efficient quantities of the public good, what common resources are and why are they overused, what artificially scarce goods are and why they are underconsumed, how government intervention in the production and consumption of these types of goods can make society better off, and why finding the right level of government intervention is often difficult. And so we have talked about so far private goods. We looked at supply and demand, and usually the prices are right and the quantities where we want it. But this is looking at a case where it's not really advantageous for producers to produce a public good because they're not going to get paid much for it. And so we're going to look and see that the government will have to step in and produce that good. Two terms that you'll need to know are excludability and rivalry. They're listed below for you. Excludability is basically if you charge a price for something, then someone's going to be left out. They're going to be excluded. So for the Big Mac and fries or for the Anoka hoodie, if you have to pay for it, it's going to be excludable. Rivalry means that if you buy that product or use that product, no one else is going to be able to buy that exact same product. And again, the Big Mac and fries, if you're eating that Big Mac and fries, no one else is going to be able to have that exact same hamburger, those exact same fries. Or no one else is going to be able to buy that exact same sweatshirt. So then it is also rival. It's important to know a few different types of goods out there before we talk about public goods. The first one is private goods. This is the one that we've been talking about for the last couple of months. They are both excludable and rival. And so if you go to a store like Walmart or Kmart or Kohl's or Penny's, anywhere like that where you're purchasing a good, well, no one else is going to be able to buy that exact same good. So you're purchasing it, which makes it excludable, and then once you buy it, no one else can, which makes it rival. Another type of good is common resources. These goods are rival, but they are not excludable. And so one example that I have down there is fishing. That's the classic example is fishing in the ocean. If we all decide to go fishing in the ocean, we can do that for free. However, when I catch a fish or when you catch a fish, that's one less for me. So it is rival, but it's non-excludable. The next category is artificially scarce goods. These are excludable, meaning that we have to pay for it, but they are not rival. And so an example of that might be pay-per-view movies. If I get that movie, so can you. Nothing's going to stop you besides that you have to pay for it, which makes it excludable. And finally, that brings us to the topic of today, which are public goods. Public goods are neither excludable nor rival, so we can't charge a price for it, and if I use it, doesn't mean that you can't use it. We can all use it, and we don't have to pay for it. An example down below is national defense. Here are a couple other examples of pictures of public goods. I have the snowplow in the corner there, and a snowplow is something that's offered by the city that we pay for because it wouldn't be advantageous of a producer to try to snowplow a street when maybe only one person wants it. What happens to the person that doesn't want to pay for it? Well, you can't just stop the snowplow right in their part of the street and lift it up and then go over it and then start shoveling again. Otherwise, that person that did pay for it's going to be upset. And so that's a service that is a public good, and that's why the city pays for that. Other public goods include parks. I especially like Lake Harriet. My wife and I would go down there often early when we got married and we were dating. And you can go down there and watch free concerts and park down there and have a lot of fun down there. Now we take the kids down there to walk around the lake and go to the beach. It's a lot of fun. And that's a free enjoyment. That's a public good. It's non-rival and it's not excludable. But it also means that the market's probably not going to provide these goods. You know, what incentive does a producer have when some customers aren't going to pay for it? And so the market tends to underprovide these public goods. It's not possible to charge a price because people cannot be excluded from it. Anyone can enjoy it. And obviously this would discourage some people from benefiting if they did have to pay for it. Maybe we wouldn't go down to Lake Harriet so often if we had to pay to see the concert or to use the park. Today's lecture is pretty short, and here's this last slide already. And this really is just a definition of why we can't have a public good. And that's because there's free riders. People that receive benefit of the good but aren't going to pay for it. And you can probably think of one of your classmates that might be kind of like that. The free rider problem prevents private markets from supplying the public goods. Again, producers aren't going to produce it when some people that benefit from the good aren't going to want to pay for it. And that's called the free rider problem. Again, in summary, public goods are non-excludable, so people can't be charged a price for it, and they're non-rival, so everyone can enjoy it. This is a lot different than private goods. And so it's important to know that the only way that these goods are going to be provided is if the government provides these goods.